Hey, it's Mr. Leatherwood, and we are finally starting multiplication. I'm very excited. And today we're going to talk about some patterns that are going to be so useful as you multiply this year and then going forward all the way through high school, college, when you're an adult. These patterns will be so helpful, I promise. All right, let's take a look. All right, so some of the patterns when we're multiplying by 10 and 100 is what we're looking for. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to prove to you that these patterns work so you will feel safe that you can do them every single time. So I'm going to show you if we do 1 times 5, most of you are okay, that is 5. Well, if we do 10 groups of 5, so I did a bunch of them, 5, 5, 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we added them. 5 and 5 is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So we know that 10 times 5 is 50. We can see a pattern occur over and over again. I want you to notice this 0 and this 0 compared to up here. So when we did 1 times 5, we just got 5. When we did 10 times 5, we had 50. So we were able to add a 0 because we were multiplying by 10. Now if you're multiplying by 100, I bet some of you can guess what that's going to do. Now I'm not going to draw 100 5s because that would take me forever. But I am going to tell you that 5 groups of 100, we could do that, 100 plus 100. Okay, when we have 5 groups of 100, we have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, just like we set up here. So I proved to you that it works. Now we want to notice that when I multiplied by 100, there were 2 zeros here. And then you may have noticed that we also added 2 zeros there. And I have to do this just because it looks funny. Little face, maybe a little nose. Like that. There you go. Okay, so what I want you to start to realize is that when we multiply by 10, it's okay for us just to do 1 times 5, 1 times 5, and then add our 0. When we're doing 100 times 5, we can do 1 times 5 and add our 2 zeros. The only reason I'm okay with us using these patterns is because we should know how to do the actual math down here now. Okay, if I had 5 groups of 100, I could add 100 5 times and get my answer. Okay, so I do want you to know the logic behind it. But as you move forward into multiplication, these patterns, if you just know them, it's going to help you out. So let's try some other ones. 14 times 1 is 14. If we had 10 groups of 14, notice 10 groups of 14, we could get 140. And if we had 14 groups, 14 groups of 100 or 100 groups of 14, notice this. I'm just going to do my 14, and then here I'll change numbers. And we're going to add those 2 zeros to the end. Just like up here, I added my 1 0 to the end. Okay. I know I'm going kind of slow, but I want to make sure that you understand how this works. Let's try some more. So this can work with any number you have. So if I do 1 times 25, we get 25. If I do 10 groups of 25, I'm going to get 250, right? I add 1 0. And if I do 100 groups of 25, I don't want to draw all those out. It's going to take me forever. I don't want to add them out. It's going to take me forever. But I can see this pattern when I multiply by something by 100. I can add those 2 zeros to the original up here. So I had 25, I can add 2 zeros, and then we get 2,500. So again, this is a pattern that we can learn to use, and we will move. It will allow us to move a little quicker when we're multiplying or trying to figure something out. So when we have 80 times 1, I have 80. When I do 80 times 10, so I'm going to do 1 times 80 first, and then I'm going to add this extra 0, 800. 80 times 100, again, I'm going to do 80 times 1 first, and then I'm going to add my 2 zeros. So we get 8,800. Oh, you don't need that, silly Mr. Leatherwood. There we go. All right, let's try some harder ones. All right, so this can work even if you're not multiplying by 1. So in this case, I'm multiplying 4 times 8. 4 times 8, if you know your facts, is 32. And if we have 4 times 80, so 4 times 8 is still here. 4 times 8 is 32. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this little 0. So we get 320. So again, if we're doing times 100, we could do 4 times 8 is 32. And then we want those extra zeros. We have 2 zeros this time. So we're going to get 3,200. Okay, so you can do this even if you're not multiplying by 1. All right, over here we got 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is 27, if you know your facts. So over here, I'm still got 9 times 3, so I can write my 27. But since we're doing 90 times 3, and I'm a good mathematician, I say, oh, there's a 0 here. I can just add a 0 to the end to get 90 times 3 is 270. And again, if we want to prove that, we could always do 90 plus 90 plus 90, which is 3 groups, and we would get 270. So I promise you it works. I wouldn't lie to you. At the very end, I'm going to do 9 times 3 again. We get 27. And then I have 2 zeros. So I get 2,700. This will allow you to go a lot quicker when you're doing your math. All right, let's try one more and then I'll let you go. All right, we got 7 times 7. If you know your fact, 7 times 7 is, let me pick a different color. 7 times 7 is 49. So if we do 7 times 7, that would be 49. But if we're doing times 70, we need to add that 0. We get 490. Again, if we do 7 times 700, I can start with 7 times 7 is 49. And then I can add my 2 zeros. 7 groups of 700 is 4,900. Again, I could prove this by doing 700 7 times, but who wants to waste that time when we can just use our patterns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can do the math if you want to. I don't want to, but I do know the answer is this. All right, last one. 8 times 5. 8 times 5 we know is 40. So 80 times 5 is 400, and 800 times 5 is 4,000. Very sloppy handwriting, and that does not look like a comma. There we go. So again, this is just a pattern that allows you to be a little quicker at your multiplication, especially getting into big numbers. So I really want us to practice multiplying by multiples of 10. So 80 times 5, 70 times 7. And we're going to practice in class, and you're going to get really good at it, and it's going to help you in this multiplication unit because you are going to be so good at multiplication that I bet you're going to be able to start doing it in your head and not having to draw out circles and dots and all the craziness that we're doing right now. I can't wait to see it.